Have you ever had a moment where a simple joke turned into the kind of silence that makes your blood run cold? Stay with me, because what happened in this small, crowded Navy base cafeteria that day is a story you won't forget. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Kindness Tales for more incredible stories like this. It was early morning, and the smell of coffee mixed with burnt toast filled the base cafeteria. Single dad and former Navy SEAL, Mike Reynolds, was sitting at his usual corner table quietly sipping his coffee while keeping an eye on his 8-year-old daughter, Emily, who was trying to balance a tray stacked with pancakes, scrambled eggs, and a glass of chocolate milk. Life had slowed down for Mike after leaving active duty, but he carried the weight of the ocean, the missions, and the losses on his shoulders every single day. Some days it was heavier than others, but mornings like this, watching Emily try to carefully maneuver her tray, reminded him why he had fought so hard to survive. The chatter of sailors and officers filled the cafeteria, some joking, some rushing to grab breakfast before drills. Mike was lost in thought when a voice boomed from across the room, playful yet tinged with authority. "So, Reynolds," said Admiral Thomas Marshall, a towering man with a reputation for both sharp wit and even sharper command. "What's your call sign these days? You still going by something cool, or has civilian life made you boring?" The cafeteria hushed slightly, curious. Mike looked up, half smiling. The Admiral's tone was teasing, almost mocking in that friendly military way. But Mike wasn't the type to entertain unnecessary attention. He didn't answer right away. "Call sign?" he muttered, his voice calm but low. "I haven't used one in years. Come on, Reynolds. Humor me. It can't be that hard. Everyone has a call sign. Don't tell me you left yours behind with your uniform." The Admiral leaned forward, a grin spreading across his face. His eyes twinkled with that dangerous curiosity only a SEAL Admiral could pull off. The kind of curiosity that had seen more battles than most people could imagine. Mike's heart beat faster, not with fear, but with a mix of amusement and memory. He remembered the long nights in Afghanistan, the missions that had no names but were etched forever in his mind. The time when a single word over the radio could mean life or death. His call sign was a relic of all those nights, all those battles, and he hadn't uttered it since he returned home, choosing instead to just be Mike to everyone, even Emily. He glanced down at his coffee, then at Emily, who had plopped onto the bench next to him with a shy smile. She looked up at him, unaware of the waves of tension passing over her father. He could see her little fingers fidgeting with her napkin, and for a moment he almost wished he could shield her from the stories behind that call sign. "Well," Mike started, his voice steady despite the small crowd of onlookers. "If you really want to know—" Admiral Marshall leaned closer, his grin widening. "Do tell." Mike paused, savoring the weight of the moment. The cafeteria grew quiet. Some of the younger sailors chuckled nervously, thinking this would just be a funny reveal, a casual anecdote from a veteran who had surely lived a colorful military life. They didn't know what was coming. "Call sign," Mike said, finally meeting the Admiral's eyes, was Iron Ghost. A beat, silence. You could have heard a pin drop. The coffee cups paused mid-air. The clatter of trays and cutlery stopped abruptly. Even Emily, sensing the sudden shift, looked up at her dad with wide eyes. The words seemed to hang in the air, charged and heavy. Iron Ghost. The younger sailors whispered among themselves, impressed but confused, while the older ones froze, recognizing the weight behind the name. The Admiral, who had been joking moments before, suddenly straightened, his expression tightening as if the air itself had changed. A SEAL by nature, he instantly understood that this was no nickname taken lightly. It was a symbol of missions so dangerous, so covert, that most could only imagine them. I didn't expect," Admiral Marshall's voice faltered, a rare break in his usual commanding tone. He wasn't used to being the one caught off guard. Mike could see the respect and shock flicker in the Admiral's eyes, the realization that the man before him had faced shadows no ordinary person could comprehend and lived to tell the story. Mike, sensing the tension, took a slow sip of his coffee. The moment was surreal. What had started as a lighthearted joke had transformed into something unspoken yet palpable, the weight of honor, courage, and the invisible scars of a soldier's life. Emily, unaware of the significance of the name, reached up and tugged gently at her father's sleeve. "Daddy, are we gonna be late?" she asked innocently. Mike smiled, ruffling her hair, the warmth of her presence grounding him amidst the unexpected intensity. Admiral Marshall shook his head slightly, regaining composure, though his eyes never left Mike's. "Iron Ghost," he repeated, almost reverently. "I've read reports. I've heard stories, but never did I expect to meet the man himself. All these years." His voice trailed, heavy with admiration and a hint of awe. Mike gave a small nod, his eyes softening. He wasn't looking for recognition or accolades, especially not here, not now. He was just a father enjoying breakfast with his daughter, a man who had survived more than most could imagine and now navigated the quiet battlefield of civilian life. The cafeteria slowly returned to normal, but the atmosphere had shifted. People looked at Mike differently, their casual chatter replaced with quiet respect. Some dared to whisper, others dared not. The name Iron Ghost was more than a call sign. It was a legend, an echo of courage in every whispered corner of the Navy. Admiral Marshall finally broke the silence, his tone both stern and approving. "Reynolds, or should I say Iron Ghost, it's an honor." The words carried weight, a rare and sincere commendation that didn't need medals or paperwork. Mike smiled faintly, feeling a warmth he hadn't realized he was missing. Recognition, yes, but also acceptance. His past was never something to hide, but something to honor in quiet moments like these. Emily, still unaware of the storm of respect swirling around her father, bounced in her seat. "Can I have some more chocolate milk?" she asked, completely changing the mood back to playful innocence. Mike chuckled and poured her another glass, the mundane sweetness of the moment grounding him in the present. The Admiral watched for a moment longer before nodding and moving on, a subtle salute that didn't go unnoticed by Mike. It was a gesture of respect, acknowledgement without words, and Mike realized that sometimes the greatest victories weren't fought in the desert or under fire. They were fought in the quiet moments when your past meets your present, and you realize that what you did, who you were, and what you endured, it mattered. By the time breakfast was finished, the story of Iron Ghost had spread in whispers across the base. Some of the young sailors would never forget the way the cafeteria went silent, the way a simple joke had revealed a lifetime of courage and honor. Mike left with Emily's hand in his, a quiet smile on his face, knowing that the world could be both mundane and extraordinary at the same time. And as they walked away, Mike thought about the importance of names, of stories, and of the legacies we carry with us, not for fame, not for glory, but for the quiet assurance that we've lived, loved, and fought with everything we had. Iron Ghost, yes, it was a call sign, but it was also a reminder. Even in silence, even in moments of normalcy, courage has a voice. If this story touched you, if it reminded you of the silent heroes around us, or the moments when respect speaks louder than words, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Kindness Tales. These stories are about more than just heroes. They're about the kindness, courage, and resilience that live inside all of us.